Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to give you 7 financial tips that will change the rest of your life and put you on the fast track towards financial freedom. Alright, let's get straight into it. So the first thing you need to do on your financial journey is open a bank account. And to open a bank account, you need to be at least 18 years old. And if you're a minor, you can open up a joint account with your parent or legal guardian as an account co-owner. Alright, so we're living in a digital world, so you need to at the very least have a bank account. And after making your bank account, I definitely recommend opening up a credit card so you can start building credit. So why do you want to build good credit? Because building good credit takes time and you need to slowly start doing it now so that when you want to, in the future, buy a house or file for a personal loan, you qualify for the lower interest rates. When you start building your credit and as your credit score gets higher and higher, you're going to qualify for lower and lower interest rates. And having lower interest rates means that you're going to save thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars down the line when you file for mortgages and personal loans. So the second reason why you want to start using credit cards is to accrue points. And you can accrue points by just using the credit card on everyday purchases. And each purchase will give you a little bit of points that you can then redeem for cash, travel, gift cards, and more. I was able to use some of these points for free flights and a gaming monitor. And you can even redeem these for a free hotel room or just get cash back. So the third reason why you want to start using your credit card is because it helps you track your spending. You can look through your statements in a given month to see the type of purchases you're making. And some apps will actually give you a more detailed breakdown for the different types of purchases you're spending on, ranging from utilities to groceries to travel and entertainment. Let me share with you 2 tips for building good credit. Whenever you spend money on your credit card, you just gotta make sure that you pay it back on time and in full. If you follow these 2 tips consistently over the course of your credit journey, you'll build good to excellent credit in no time. If you're a student and applying for a credit card for the very first time, I personally use the Chase Freedom Card and still honestly use it to this day. Chase has amazing customer service, a great app that's easy to use, and I've had a really good experience so far. And I'll have the link down below if you want to sign up for this card. The most important thing not to do with your credit card is spending more than your limit and spending more than you can afford. Otherwise, make most of your purchases on your credit card, get those free points, and spend it on anything that you want. So the second financial tip I have for you guys is to have an emergency fund. So what is an emergency fund? It's basically a cash reserve that's specifically set aside for unplanned expenses and financial emergencies. This fund will include things like rent, home repairs, insurance, medical bills, anything that you spend in a month to keep yourself afloat. You also want to keep some extra money to spend on yourself. It's basically your going out money. So why is it important to have one? Say in the case of an emergency and you lose your job for whatever reason. You're not going to be making any money, so having this fund will prevent you from having to borrow money to just live. And also give you the time freedom to look for another job and make ends meet. So how much should you save in this fund and where do you keep this money? So this fund should include 3 to 6 months of all your expenses. And you want to keep this cash in a high yield savings account where you have quick access to the money whenever you need it. And they'll also pay you a competitive yield just to keep it there. Don't keep that emergency fund in stocks or crypto or any other types of assets in that nature because you want liquid, hard cash that you can pull out and use whenever that emergency arises. So the third tip I have for you guys is to avoid student loan debt and don't waste it on non-essentials. So student loans are essential to most college students and spend it on everything you need ranging from tuition, rent, groceries, textbooks, anything that you will need to survive and do well in school first. I'd avoid borrowing any more than you need because you're eventually going to have to pay it all back one day. If you borrow more, you're likely going to have to pay higher monthly interest as well. You'll meet plenty of people that will spend their student loan money on things such as clothing, the newest iPhone, or video games, but save as much money as you can. If you're lucky to get some financial aid or some free money from the government, resist the temptation to spend it on wasteful things. So the fourth financial tip I have for you guys is don't spend more than you make. This is a simple concept that many people struggle to follow. We're living in a society where there's always more, and more. Amazon 2-day shipping, easy to buy skins on Fortnite, brand name items that will fulfill the same purpose as generic goods. We're living in a world where it's so easy to get these hits of dopamine for these type of purchases, but they're actually so wasteful. The problem doesn't lie with how much we make, but we're actually the problem itself. So here's some useful tips that you can use to develop the right habits to spend less and make it a part of your financial lifestyle. So the first tip I have for you guys is to distinguish between your wants and your needs. Keep it simple. Is it a necessity or is it a want? Food, shelter, and clothing are necessities. Basically, everything else is a want. For example, do you need to go out and eat 3 times a week? Or do you need to get that Starbucks coffee before work every morning? I'm not saying you have to give up doing these things, but do it less or opt for other alternatives that might actually be better and cheaper. Make your own coffee instead. A Starbucks coffee would cost you between $3 to $5 a cup. But if you choose to make your own coffee, it would probably only cost 25 to 50 cents a pop. You could even spend on more premium coffee than what Starbucks has, and it would still cost significantly less. So the second tip I have is to use trial periods to evaluate if you actually want it. I personally do this a lot, especially with my Amazon purchases, I'll see something go on sale on Amazon or some marketing that somehow manages to persuade me, I'll buy it. But then I'll give myself a little grace period to decide if I actually want it. I determine if it's a gimmick or something I actually need. And then if I don't want it, then I return it. After implementing this method, I found that I've been saving a lot more money. It gives me the opportunity to see the product in my hand, play around with it, and then just return it free of charge. If you don't find yourself using the product often, then it's generally not worth keeping. So do yourself a favor and just return it. So the third tip is to have an accountability partner. This partner can be your friend, your best friend, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. Anybody that you trust to tell you the right thing to do and the honest truth. When you make any purchase, let your partner know, reason with them, go back and forth, and work together through these difficulties. By sharing your finances with somebody, this will help save you from emotional draws or weaknesses that you may have. These weaknesses may be eating out or impulse buying. Whatever it is, talk it over with your accountability partner so that they can help keep you accountable and save you money. So the fifth financial tip I have for you guys is to acquire assets, not liabilities. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, popularized this phrase in that rich people acquire assets and the poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. So what's an asset? An asset is just basically anything that puts money in your pocket. So what's a liability? You guessed it, anything that takes money out of your pocket. So what are some examples of an asset? An asset can be real estate, stocks, bonds, notes, intellectual properties, and crypto. These assets will bring you money in your bank account through the form of rental income, dividends, interest, and royalties. An example of some liabilities would be mortgages, loans, and credit card debt. Try to limit the amount of liabilities that you have and increase the amount of assets that you have. If your assets generate more income than your liabilities, then you're net positive and you're one step closer to financial freedom. So the sixth financial tip I have for you guys is to invest early and invest for the long term. Start building your investment knowledge as early as you can. Right when you turn 18, and if you have some extra money on the side, invest into some stocks and some crypto. Taking action is the most important step because once you have some skin in the game, you're more likely to pay attention to the market and learn a lot faster. Don't do anything risky in the beginning and invest into something low risk like the S&P 500 index. So what's the S&P 500 index? So it's basically a combination of the top 500 companies in the US. Buying this fund is low risk because it is so diversified. Investing into this fund will generate an average return of 7.46% a year. For example, if you were to invest $10,000 in 2001, it would have grown 322.3% to $42,230 by the end of 2020. This time period also includes the major bear and bull markets, all the black swan events like 9/11, the financial crisis in 2008, and COVID. After you get a bit more experience, you can start looking into more specific stocks and crypto. These assets will give you the possibility of getting better returns, but that also comes with the additional risk of losing more as well. This is a great time to get into crypto, but it's a lot more risky, and always make sure to do extensive research before committing to buying anything. I'd also recommend thinking more long-term. There's no need to be greedy. There's overwhelming evidence showing that it's impossible to beat the market long-term. In 1973, there was a Princeton University professor named Burton Malkiel who performed an experiment showcasing how a blindfolded monkey throwing darts at a newspaper's financial pages could select a portfolio that would do just as well as the experts. Anyone can pick one, two, or a few winners, but doing this consistently over a long period of time is really difficult, if not impossible. It's completely random. No one knows what's going to happen. If somebody tells you that they know, then they're full of crap. Otherwise, they'd be swimming in gold and be richer than Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett combined. So prioritize winning in the long term. The seventh and final tip I have for you guys is to stop buying crap clothing that you won't wear. You know what I'm talking about. We all love the feeling of buying brand new clothes. There's no need to deny it because I'm guilty of it too. It's a truth. Go look in your closet. You probably wear the same 20% of your clothing 80% of the time. The rest of the clothes that you bought are wasted. Here's what you can do to minimize this waste in the future. Invest in high quality clothing that you're actually gonna wear 80% of the time. If you're gonna go buy some clothes, buy something that's really good. Invest in something that's gonna pass the test of time and is not just some fad. These things will cost you a lot more money, but it'll also make you think about your purchase more deeply and cause you to weigh whether or not you actually want it. It'll also pay off in the long run because the cost of this purchase gets averaged out throughout all the times you're gonna use it. These are my 7 tips to help fast track your journey towards financial freedom. If you found these tips helpful, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below which tip you found most helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.